What's up, guys? And today I'm going to be talking about how to increase the width of your face to have a more broad face and not have such a narrow face. The only way that I've seen it done, or the only way to do it proportionally, is to install a skeletal expander in the roof of your mouth called a Marpy. And I have done this. I go about it on my other channel. But what the Marpy does is you have a key and you turn the key on this device that's drilled into the roof of your mouth, and it's gonna expand your face like this. And my face is much wider than it was before. Like, I like the proportions and the width of my face now. In my old videos, if on my other channel, you could see that my face was more like this, and my jaw was the widest part of my face. Everything was like a rectangle like this, and my jaw was the widest. Now the widest part of my face is my zygomatic bones. These bones, the bones in themselves, they're not bigger per se, but I split this area in half and it pushed them outwards so they project just a little more. And I'm higher body fat right now, and I could see like my bones here, like in some picture angles, much better than in the past, because in the past I would be very lean and it would just be flat. Like, I would see a little bump here but no zygomatic bones, and I'm like, there's something wrong with me. And the problem that I have, and many of you have, everyone that's trying to looks max, and eventually they're going to find the hard maxing because it applies to you. We have a hypoplastic skull in many areas, and what that means is you have a deficiency of bone in your face because you didn't grow enough bone during puberty, because we did not eat a lot of nutrients. And those nutrients come from red meat, raw milk, all that. So we're past that. You can't change that. So what do? We artificially, well, not artificially, whatever word you want to say, we put man-made devices in our face, break our face literally. A little fracture is created and it's slowly expanded. It's the same principle as length limb surgery to get taller. It's the same concept. They drill these things that anchor onto your bones on your tibia and fibula, and they slowly stretch the bone. They break it and then they slowly stretch, because as your bone stretches, the two bones that are broken, they're trying to reconnect. They're sending blood supply to each other, they're sending nutrients and reconnecting like a spider web. But as that spider web is forming, you stop the formation by pulling at the same time. So it's forming, you pull slow, and then it forms again and you pull slow. If you pull too fast, if it's pulled too fast, the gap is too wide for them to ever reconnect. It takes too long. So you got to break it and let the healing process begin, where they start to interlock again, and then you stretch. They interlock harder again and you stretch. Interlock, stretch. That's the best way to imagine it. So I did that with my mid face, my entire mid face. Even my eyes changed, I would say, for the better and worse. But it's way better overall, because if you notice in the wild, anything that has a very broad skull looks dangerous and is a predator. I mean, look at Raja Jackson, the guy who beat up that wrestler. Look at his face. Just by looking at him, I just know that dude's dangerous, and I would not want to hang out with this fool. Because, not saying that I can't protect myself, but it's the temperament on those type of individuals or creatures that just have a white face. Once they snap, it's all they see is red. So avoid that. And back to the aesthetics point, if you have a white face, you're gonna kind of display those type of characteristics. It's gonna kind of protect you in the natural and the modern world. It's going to make you look more like a predator, a more capable predator with a wider face. If you have a narrow, skinny face, just look up anybody that has a narrow upper palate, where they smile and then you see these dark corridors, like big gaps of blackness right here when they smile. There's teeth and then there's gaps. Usually their entire face is like this, and they just look very weird and underdeveloped. So that's one way to improve your looks in terms of bone deficiency. You need to put a skeletal expander, expand with a key, and this is done by an orthodontist. I always recommend going to an airway orthodontist for this, which is I did, and get multiple consultations. Do that. Do your due diligence. Due diligence. Look up Jaw Hacks on YouTube. He's like the expert of Marpy because he did it. That's where I learned it from, and I did mine, learning from his stuff. Look into it, and it's gonna be one of the best surgeries. Well, it's not even a surgery. It's like an appliance. It's like a hybrid, guys. Like there's the soft tissue things, and then there's the hardcore surgeries where you gotta put anesthesia in your body. They knock you out, cut you, a lot of blood loss. This is the perfect hybrid. This is the only procedure where I think it's a perfect hybrid, because it's just local anesthesia. So you don't feel it, but you're not slept. It's in the middle. But you're changing your bone while you're conscious. Every time you turn the key, you literally feel the pressure in your face. You feel it here on your cheekbones. You feel it if you feel it on your orbitals, but it's not even, okay, you got to tell your orthodontist that, because you can create an asymmetry with another fracture. But you want to feel the pressure as even as possible. And I felt the pressure here. I felt it up to my brow ridge, guys. I felt it in my zygos. I felt it on my upper, like my maxilla. I felt it everywhere. And the thing is, it didn't hurt. I actually liked the pressure. I wanted to just turn. The only reason I didn't keep turning is because I had an asymmetry, or the appliance caused an asymmetry, because the appliance wasn't installed 100% correctly. It was installed enough for the expansion to occur, but my bone was so thick that the rods, or we'll just call them rods, that they screwed into my bone, they couldn't go in all the way, because the thread, it was, I don't know, washed out, or the thread just couldn't keep going into my bone, because my own bone destroyed the thread that helps the rod, drill into your bone. I'm not sure if I'm using the correct terms, but point is, the rods that were in my mouth were kind of protruding, so my tongue was hitting them as after they installed the appliance. So maybe that caused a part of the asymmetries that I experienced, which is mostly in the eye and the maxilla. The maxilla one, I don't even care about it anymore. It's not an insecurity of mine. I've accepted it only because I know I'm gonna get jaw surgery to address it. But the eye asymmetry, it feels like my eye here got dragged down and this eye got pushed up. Like I noticed a difference in my eyes afterwards, and it kind of sucks because, man, I was not anticipating that type of side effect from the expansion to affect my orbital region that negatively. I mean, it's not too severe where it's like I need to get an orbital box osteotomy, but maybe in the future, if it gets even worse, like my tissues start getting weaker and the discrepancy gets bigger, then I might have to do some eye surgeries. But honestly, I don't even think about it, because the more I think about it, the more I hyperfixate, and it's not good. But anyways, that's the one way to fix your upper palate. And this is all airway, guys. The whole reason I did this was to fix my airway. So yes, my aesthetics improved overall, wider face, better, more masculine, more developed, but I did it so I can breathe through my nose. Because if you can breathe through your nose, your life is going to change. Every time I would go to sleep at night before the operation or before the Marpy installment, I would always have a congested nose, and it was hell, guys. Living through that my whole life, it was not good. So after I expanded 7 millimeters, which is significant, based on the x-rays, it was around 6 to 7. But I snuck in a few extra turns after my latest x-rays, so I might have gone to 8 millimeters. That was the intended goal. But let's assume we got to 7 for sure. Then every millimeter that you expand, your airway volume exponentially increases. It's not like 1 + 1. It's like 1 + 1, and then the third millimeter is like +4, and then the fourth millimeter is like +16, because your airway volume expands in all all directions, transversely, vertically, everywhere. So the difference between a 7 millimeter expansion and an 8 millimeter expansion from your starting point is like the equivalent of the first 3 or 4 millimeters, because at that point it's like every time you open it up, it's like way more space, like way more. So I suggest getting a Marpy, and so that's the first way to improve your airway, which will improve your aesthetics. It'll increase the width of your face, which is what they don't mention in the looks maxing community. Even like the Syrian psycho guy, I watched hard max tier list, which is really good. I learned a lot about that, but he excluded Marpy, and a lot of these guys say that it makes barely a difference. It's because they've never put they don't have the practical experience. I've done it. It makes a huge difference. A Marpy should be on an A tier. It's an S tier. It's S tier if it's done correctly. If there's an asymmetry, like a canted smile, like me, like a canted maxilla, it's gonna be like a B tier, maybe C tier, but it's still gonna be beneficial for you because your airway is gonna improve, health is gonna improve. That's the most important part. You're gonna get wider, which is almost great, but the only reason it is going down is because it can create eye asymmetry, which you will need to fix with surgery, so more money out of your pocket. And then the jaw discrepancy, you're gonna have to fix with surgery. So it's the collateral damage if everything goes wrong, but if everything goes right and it expands symmetrically, it's a smooth process. You're done with it. Your eyes improve, your cheekbones improve, your under eye support improves. Like, you knock out so many things. You get rid of so many cosmetic procedures just by expanding your mid-face from the Marpy. Secondly, after you do the Marpy, you do double jaw surgery. Double jaw surgery will improve everything. And then I mean double jaw surgery with the genioplasty. So a tri-phase operation. Maxilla, a BSSO, which is for the lower jaw. So they do a sagittal split, or a split here and here, and they manipulate your whole lower jaw here. And then a genioplasty, which is the last part of your lower jaw, which they cut separately to give you projection. If you advance everything and put in the correct position to harmonize your face, you've literally done like 90% to improve your looks. Like, once you do those two operations combined, you are golden. Everything else, just lose your body fat, get sunlight, eat red meat, primal, be happy, love nature, and you're set. You're set, guys. But the whole point is improving your airway.